What if, under the coldest layer of ice on Earth, it turns out that the remains of the ancient forest that used to be filled with giant trees, rivers, and even life are hidden? The place that is now frozen and deadly turned out to be green, warm, and alive. And what's more surprising, scientists found evidence that the secret is still buried deep under the Antarctic ice to this day. Imagine standing in a place that is so cold, the wind is able to freeze the skin in just a few minutes. There are almost no plants. There are no large animals roaming around. All you can see is an endless expanse of white. That is Antarctica, the coldest continent on Earth. But who would have thought, millions of years ago, this place was completely different? Under the Antarctic ice sheet that reaches kilometers thick, buried an ancient world that is almost impossible to believe. An ancient forest. Not just a few small trees, instead of a large ecosystem filled with giant plants, swamps, rivers, and wildlife. This discovery made scientists stunned, because it means Antarctica used to be warm, and it's not just ordinary warmth. Some studies show that millions of years ago, the temperature in some areas of Antarctica could reach more than 20 degrees Celsius, very different from the current condition, which can reach minus tens of degrees. Then, how can the forest exist, and why did everything disappear? This story begins with a strange discovery. Under the ice sheet, scientists are drilling deep into the bottom of Antarctica. The initial goal was simple: to study the history of the Earth's climate. But when the ancient soil sample was successfully removed, they found something surprising. Pollen granules, plant roots, remains of ancient wood, and organic materials that come from ancient trees. It doesn't come from anywhere else. All come from Antarctica itself, as if the Earth is keeping evidence that the coldest place in the world used to be home to dense forests. Imagine that. In a place that is now filled with endless ice. In the past, you may have heard the sound of insects, rivers, and leaves blowing in the wind. This discovery changed many theories about the history of the Earth. Scientists believe that about 90 million years ago, Antarctica was part of a much warmer world. Carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere at that time were very high. As a result, the global temperature increased drastically. There is no giant ice sheet, and the South Pole region is filled with green vegetation. Even some studies found that, at that time, ancient rainforests may have grown in Antarctica. Hard to believe, because today, Antarctica is known as one of the most extreme places for life. But the Earth is constantly changing. The movement of tectonic plates, atmospheric changes, and climate change over millions of years slowly turned Antarctica into an ice world. And when the temperature starts to drop, the forests are slowly dying. The trees are frozen. The ground is covered with snow. Then, the ice layer continues to thicken for millions of years, burying the entire ancient world deep below the surface, as if the Earth wants to hide it from the modern world. What makes this discovery even more scary is some parts of the forest may still be intact under the ice, because a very cold temperature can slow down the decay process. It means, under the kilometers of the Antarctic ice sheet, there may still be ancient tree roots that have not been touched by humans for millions of years. Imagine if one day humans could really explore the entire Antarctic ice. Maybe we will find a world that feels like another planet. But there is another side that is more worrying. The discovery of this ancient forest is also a proof of how drastic the Earth's climate change is. Antarctica, that used to be green, is now an ice desert, and scientists began to ask, if the Earth had ever changed that extreme in the past, what will happen in the future? Because at this time, the Antarctic ice sheet is starting to melt faster due to global warming. Some areas experienced large cracks. The giant iceberg broke and drifted into the ocean. And deep below the ice that is starting to melt, the secrets of the Earth are slowly beginning to be revealed. Not just an ancient forest, but also hidden lakes, ancient microorganisms, even possible forms of life that modern humans have never known. There is a lake under the ice in Antarctica that has been locked for millions of years without sunlight. But strangely, microbial life is still found there. This makes scientists even more curious. If life could survive under the extreme Antarctic ice, maybe life can also exist on another planet covered with ice. Because of that, Antarctica is now one of the most important research sites in the world. This ice continent is not just about snow, but about the Earth's past, and maybe also the future of mankind. But exploring Antarctica is not an easy thing. Extreme temperature, deadly snowstorm, a hidden giant ice crack. Every expedition brings a big risk. Even in history, many explorers have lost their lives while trying to conquer this continent. But human curiosity is always greater than fear. And the deeper the scientists dig, the more mysteries are discovered. Some theories even say that there are still areas under Antarctica that have never been touched by humans at all. A completely hidden world. It may still keep traces of life millions of years ago. Maybe also keep something that we have never imagined. What is clear, Antarctica is not just an empty ice desert as many people have imagined. Under that silent layer of white, buried the Earth's long history. A green world that has disappeared, and the ancient forest is a reminder that the Earth is constantly changing. What we see today not necessarily will remain the same in the future, because millions of years ago, no one thought that Antarctica was once filled with trees. And maybe millions of years from now, the world is changing again in ways we never imagined. So when you see the expanse of ice Antarctica that is silent and frozen, remember one thing: underneath, there used to be life, and that secret is still asleep under the ice to this day.